Well, hey everybody, it's Monday, the 9th day of June 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, interesting things going on this last weekend. I did a reading. I haven't written it up yet, but it was all higher. It was all major arcana cards, and indicating that we need to understand the bigger picture, and be very, very non-reactive is what it ultimately came down to. Not allowing ego to take over and give the powers that be what they want. So, which is a bunch of stuff that will cause them to do some things that will ultimately be really bad. So let's not give them that. So was basically what I took from that reading. But I may write it up. I may put it up over at Stepping Aside. I don't know. We'll see. Today we open with Ansus, which is Odin's rune. It's the fourth rune of the Elder Futhark. It's a divine message. It's spirit communication, essentially what I was just talking about. It's also about clarity and divinity and higher consciousness and communicating with people from that level of integration, basically soul integration into who we are, because that is what we are. It's just we get caught up in the ego, and the ego starts getting us to do things that are reactive and doesn't see the bigger picture. It doesn't see things from a soul perspective, and so Ansus is really about communicating from a soul perspective. So let's see what the Geomancy runes have to say for the below side of things. Well, okay, we have Populous, I believe. Yeah, we have Populous. Populous and Vaya are each other's complements, whereas Vaya is a single line. You've got, or single dots all the way down here. You have two all the way down for fire, air, water, and earth. So it's a very passive influence. And so, again, it's following along with the crowd. And again, if you are out, if this is regarding protesting what's going on, and we have every right to do that, all of us do, and if that's what that's about, then we've got to come from a place and speak from the place of divine eloquence, and don't give anybody with perceived authority any reason to come after you. You need to stay higher than all of that. Be non-reactive, that sort of thing. So we'll see, though, what the cards have to say. It may be something totally different, but we'll see. Cut the deck and take the lower half. Well, we have one card from the Suit of Wands, one from Pentacles, or actually two from Pentacles, but one of them is the King of Pentacles, part of the court. I think that, let's go ahead. We have the Two of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. Let's go ahead and do the... we had a 4 for we'll do the numerology. We had a 4 for Ansus, and then we have a 2, and we have a 4. So that's 10. 10 is bringing things to their conclusion, really. 9 is about endings and completion, but that's coming to that point. 10 is sort of a dual type of a number in terms of it reduces to 1, which is new beginnings and talent and leadership and all that, and the self. It would be like your astrological sign, in a way. But if you look at it as 10 and leave it in its whole form, then you're looking at things really coming to its final point. And you can look at that in terms of a final point of understanding, I think. So after all this stuff, you do in ace through 10, when you finally get to that last card in the suit, it's like you understand all of it, right? You get that final understanding about things. So that would be a way to look at the 10. Generally, though, I reduce it to 1. But anyway, with all that's going on, I don't know. I think we might want to look at things from a couple of different perspectives here. So again, if you are in a crowd, if you're going along with the crowd, if you're part of a group, you have to speak with eloquence. If you reduce this overall numerology to 1, that would also include leadership. So if your voice becomes a stronger voice than others, if in a sense you become a leader, whether it's official or not, if people are listening to you, then your message needs to be such that you are somebody that looks at the whole picture and sees things from a higher perspective. But let's take a look at the 2 here. You have a decision to make today. You've got some emotions in the background. You see the water that's doing like this. You see the ships there. Big water there, so lots of emotions, but he's turned his back to that. And he's got some decisions to make involving either his material security or his home life or education or anything to do. Pentacles has to do with our physicality, our physical life that we have and all the components of that. So it's a big, it's the earth element. It's a big type of inclusion of different things, whereas air is more about communication and intellect and reason and judgment and truth versus deception, legal matters. It's all kind of on the same plane. Your physical life is all on the same plane, but it's just it's varied. And so the earth seems to have a lot of things to cover, basically. But here you're juggling things. You're juggling a decision that could be emotional. You've got to turn your back to that and get dispassionate about it and be very grounded about it. Get both feet on the ground instead of one up in the air like this guy's got. And make the decision. Understand that these kinds of decisions are constantly happening. You've got the lemniscate here. Makes it look like gears turning, doesn't it? But 2 is about balance. It's about, and again, if you're juggling a bunch of stuff in home life, you got to strike some kind of balance with that. There's that. Or you have to make a decision about your material future, what that's going to look like. And, so, I mean, again, it could have to do with, what type of education you're going to continue with, what school you're going to go to. It could be something just as simple as all of that. But again, I think that when we're talking about Ansus and the idea of higher consciousness informing what you say to others, I think that it's a bigger decision here having to do with your material security and just your basic security, physical security. So you have to be very careful there, and you can't let emotion get away from you. So I think we'll settle on that, because you're dealing with a king here who, he kind of he's sitting probably out in his garden or something on his throne. You can see the ornate steer heads here. You see the grapes here all over the place, so that's a lot of abundance. He's holding a scepter in one hand and a large coin in the other, and you see the castle there in the background, and there's a wall behind him that he's sitting against. So he's away from the castle itself, but not so far away that it's not totally visible. So he's just out probably in his garden, and he's thinking about his the amount of abundance that he has. He's a successful older man in authority. He's concerned with his legacy. He's basically responsible. But again, he's the guy in charge. And so in a sense, you have to be, if we're looking, I don't think this is talking about the government per se. I think that it has to do with where we want to go in life and where our priorities lie. And right now it's about having that type of grounded experience in life that can be filled with prosperity and abundance, but at the same time, you just have to be, sometimes when he's ill-dignified, he's a little more focused on his own money than he is on taking care of the group. And I think that having some kind of, higher influence here, or more authoritative influence on the type of decision that you have to make, leaving emotion out of it, I think it may just be related to that. And so you access your inner authority to do what you need to do. Here, you're coming together with somebody else. With the Four of Wands, you're looking at, this is a marriage, essentially, is how this particular four is depicted here in the Rider-Waite. You see there's actually a cross up here. The garlands cross one another and then the couple stood underneath it to get married, and you can see the people over here that are there at the wedding. You see the arched bridge. It's got it looks like it's maybe decorated as well, or there's some decorative type of stuff in front of it maybe. And then you see the castle behind their home. We'll just call that their home. They're raising their bouquets high in the air to suggest a celebration and integration with one another. With wands, you're looking at the fire element, so there's an intentional coming together of people. Maybe if you don't want to look at this in terms of simply a marriage, you could look at it as coming together with others for a higher purpose, essentially, for one where new opportunities are involved. But it's a different type of foundation that's being remade or restructured here in a way. So you can look at the decisions then of that you make here with the two, in terms of where you want your life to go, and what kinds of decisions you need to make that has to be made in a dispassionate way, one where emotion's not getting involved in it. You've got to be realistic, you've got to be practical, you've got to be reasonable. Things have to be depended upon whenever you make this decision, and you use your inner authority to do that as the King of Pentacles here. The court cards can either represent individual on it, so maybe you go to somebody like that for advice about what you need to do to improve your life and make the decisions that you need to make. But at the same time, it can also indicate the qualities therein of somebody who is successful, and you want to embody those things. And once you make that decision, then you come together with others, maybe either with a partner, or either in business or in marriage, or what have you, or just coming together with other people to have a new opportunity for abundance and all of that. I know Jupiter is going to come into Cancer. Is it today? I think the 9th, Jupiter goes into Cancer, I think. Let me look really quick here. Yep, 2:02 p.m. our time here. Jupiter enters Cancer, so not too far away here, a few more hours. And you've got a lot of emotion with Cancer. You've got a lot of love. It's about family. I have my granddaughter was born under the sign of Cancer, and needs to know the truth, has to know the truth. And then with Jupiter's so expansive that it expands that love and that home and that sense of family, and that Cancerians are so famous for. There can be a lot of emotion there too with Cancer, but at the same time, expansion on a positive way. Jupiter's a very positive type of a planet. It has a positive effect, big effect. It magnifies everything. It expands everything. And so maybe we're talking here about coming together in some kind of joyful, loving relationship with others, either with a partner but very positive one. If it isn't just simply a partner, if it's talking again about a group of people like we are here with Populous today, we're coming into disparate people coming in together with others in a like-minded way, for something that's greater than all of them, for some principle that's greater than all of them. So if you're looking at it in terms of that, you're making a decision here about what's going to best take care of your life and the earth side of things, the pentacles side of things, your home, your family, your work, your education, your future, your tradition, your loyalty, it's a very Othala type of an experience there with the earth element and the suit of pentacles. Prosperity, protection, all of that is part of it. And again, the king can either be who you embody to achieve all of that, or he can be somebody that you go and you talk to get some advice about, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, and where do I go from here? And again, you want to make sure that the decision that's made is going to result in something that is prosperous and beneficial, and coming together in some level of higher unity with other people. So again, whether this is talking about the people standing up for our rights right now, or if this is just talking about something more personal for you, again, it's got to be done through a higher vision, either way. And the alignment that you make with someone else or with others has got to be in a way that is not, there's going to be reactiveness as part of it, but it can't rule the day. There has to be some higher consciousness that's ruling all this, that's governing all of this, that we can invoke to make the right decisions that we need to make for our future. If you look at this in terms of what's happening countrywide, our future is at stake. And I'm sure it just seems to me that there's a lot of people that don't understand what's going on. They don't know. They get their information from a very narrow source, and so they don't understand. They don't know what the Constitution says. They don't know any of those things, and so they believe what they're told, and unfortunately, it's not the truth. And so everyone's future, even people who don't really get what's happening right now, they're going to eventually, hopefully sooner than later, but they're going to eventually. And the bottom line is either we have a country that we can all live in, or we don't. And it really comes down to that. It's the either or of this Two of Pentacles. So if it's on that level, it may have meaning for you there, but there could be something that's just happening in your life where you're making a decision today about your future, or you've been in that thought process here for a little bit, and you have to figure it out. You have to juggle it all. You have to weigh it all out and see what's really going to be the best thing for you in terms of abundance. And again, you may need to go talk to somebody that has got this figured out, that you trust and respect, who can give you some advice. And then at that point, you can make the decision to come together with whoever, and as a spouse or a partnership or a business partnership or whatever it is, some kind of partnership that restructures everything. And from there, you move forward in the whole idea of new opportunities that come from that union or that joining or that restructuring of your foundation. 4 is about foundation. With Ansu's being the 4th rune of the Elder Futhark, the foundation is higher consciousness and not the reactive ego. And so again, that's going to factor in here and be part of this decision-making process that you're going to go through. So anyhow, whatever scale this is on, the microcosm or the macrocosm, I think that there's some value for either type. So here with this reading. So anyhow, I guess that's it. Check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. The forecast is out. The correspondences for Work of Magic are out. Some of that I post over there on Substack. I'll do the write-up for the reading notes here for this, and I'll put that over there too. Over there at Substack. It's either under Jan Erickson or Witch Notes, whichever, over at Substack. You can search for either one. There's also a link to it below the video here. If you click on more, and it opens up a box. Those of you who've been here before, you've heard me say this a million times. But anyway, if you're new here, thank you for coming by. I hope you'll click subscribe and come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another, especially now. And blessed be.